going on, you guys? It's your Huggable Hipster here, and let's talk about why The Witcher 3 is the best open world game in all of gaming history. Now, before you start typing away and going in the comments being like, oh, what about Red Dead Redemption 2? What about Fallout 3? What about all the other open world games? Hold on a second. Just hold on. Keep this. Just shut it. This is an opinion video. This is an opinion video. What I say that comes out of my mouth is an opinion. You don't have to agree with me, and I am not trying to insult you. It might be a bold claim to state that The Witcher 3 is the best open world game in existence, but I have my reasons. First of all, every single point of interest that is in the game, whether it is the main storyline or a side quest, there is such an incredible story to it. There is such an immersive quality about the entire game. From the hills that you traverse with Roach to the times that you meet up with Triss and Yennefer, there is no lack of a story at all in this game. Normally with side quests, a lot of them can be a hit or a miss whenever it comes to other types of games. But with The Witcher, every single quest line that you go on, whether it be main or side quest, is a hit. Even the Witcher contracts that you find in each place that you go, it is imbued with such a level of richness and story in its own way that it makes this game have some of the best writing I've ever seen. There's a reason why this game got an award for Game of the Year, because there is something about this game. Since it's from the books, there's a lot to take from, and there's a lot that's already there in terms of script and dialogue. What CD Projekt Red managed to do was they gave more abundance and life to an already bountiful story. They made it go up a few levels, because whenever you get to a certain point in a game, there gets to be that kind of exhaustion point with an open world where you experience kind of like, oh God, is this going to be like the end of it? Are we coming up on like over 100 hours of gameplay? You don't get that with The Witcher. You get so lost in the story and the richness of what is being put out in front of you that you kind of lose track of time. Now, I will say that was the same way with Red Dead Redemption 2, but there came to be a point of where I just didn't want to do the side quests. I didn't want to do any of the extra stuff because it didn't interest me. The side quests, I literally can take a day, relax with a cup of tea, and just do side quests because they are that good. Now, this was brought up a lot of times by several writers in different articles, and I think a lot of YouTubers as well, but it's a perfect example to reiterate, and that is of the Bloody Baron. If you go through part of that quest, which you have to in order to do certain things for the main storyline, an amazing side quest. It's very sad too, but it's an incredible side quest. If you go through that entire side quest, that could literally take up to 10 hours on its own. Some of these side quests take a very long time, but they're rich in how they approach themselves to the player, if that makes sense. They're rich in their formula, and they have an abundance of wealth in terms of how they are constructed and how they've been built, so that the player doesn't get bored, they just only get more interested. So fascinating too, because this game came out in 2015. Also came out the same year as Bloodborne came out, which 2015 was just an incredible year for games all around. But what's really incredible about this game is that no matter the quests that you're on, whether it's for the main storyline, a side quest, or for any contracts, the abundance of contracts that you can do within this game, they never feel small. They always feel very complex and huge and larger than life a lot of time, because there's so much personality within this game, The Witcher, that it's hard to just narrow down a bad side quest. It's hard to nail down a bad contract. The main story on its own is tear-jerking, it's beautiful, it's filled with incredible moments and cinematic events and landscapes that just engulf your mind. Now, one of my personal favorites was Carnal Sins, and that has to do with vampires. Of course, I'm going to be into it. It was really fascinating because the DLCs that they had are some of the best DLCs in gaming. Blood and Wine was my favorite. Hands down. Again, vampires. We know this about me. I love the vampies. Now, these DLCs are great hands down, but I feel like the Blood and Wine DLC really conveys a strong sense of grief, a strong sense of, well, kind of a open-ended question of where do we go from here. It was so well done, and the DLCs are some of the most well-crafted ones, which is why I have incredibly high hopes for Phantom Liberty. When it comes down to it, there are many open world games that are incredibly well done, but they don't have the same finesse as The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. The Witcher 3 represents such a incredible level of storytelling that I think many open worlds lack because they don't have the necessary means in which to carry a story forward to completion and make it actually substantially stay and resonate with players post-game. So when you see a game like Red Dead Redemption 2, its main game is absolutely incredible, but it falls flat when it comes to the side quests. I lose interest and it doesn't have meaning for me the way the main story did. But when it comes to The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, it has vibrancy and meaning across all spectrums, whether it's Witcher contracts, main story, or side quests. I don't know how they managed to do that, of carrying the same a level of intensity in the writing style and in the in the content of the writing throughout all facets of the game, but they managed to do it. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, for example, that was my first experience with Assassin's Creed. That open world was tiring by the end of when I finished it. Oh my god, by the end of it, I was exhausted. I was ready to just just throw the whole thing out, because it was one of those games of where that game should have at least had only a 20-hour main story period, and then the rest should have been side quest. When you get to a certain point of the game, you don't go on the main storyline anymore. You're fixing other countries' problems, you're doing other things, and you're making it habitable for different colonies to thrive. So, I haven't played the game in a hot minute, so, I might be phrasing this wrong. But when you go into Assassin's Creed Valhalla, the controls are amazing. The main story is actually really solid. I love the main story, but it takes too long to get to the freaking punchline. When it comes to The Witcher 3, however, you get that main storyline. You get a little bit of a slow period. You get like this ramped up, high-paced period. All of what is included in The Witcher, again, I know I've said this so many times, from the side quests to the Witcher contracts to the main story, it's well paced, and that is incredibly difficult to do. The pacing is one of the most important parts when it comes to a decent story, because you can have an amazing story and not pace it well throughout the game and have it become a real issue. I could go on about The Witcher the entire day, but this basically was just like a rant and rave video about Witcher 3 The Wild Hunt. I love getting the chance to just express my, my feels, my excitement, my love for a video game. I always have to kind of rein it in for a lot of the time, because when I'm reviewing a game, I try to stay like right down in the middle, well, some things were good, some things were bad. This was kind of okay, kind of like Goldilocks. But, it was fun to just be the fangirl for a second and be like, oh my God, I love this. I want all of it. But you guys, that was it for me. If you all like my face and what I do, please be sure to subscribe and hit the bell down below. I make videos every day here on YouTube. May you find your worth in the waking world, dear hunter. Stay casually nerdy, and I will see you all in the next video. Umbasa.